Hey, this is Mark Williams of Swine Life Barbecue. Today we're doing a little bit of research and development. What we have here is a choice grade picanha we picked up from the butcher shop down in Pensacola, Florida, and I've seen several pitmasters on YouTube treat these just like a brisket. It really piqued my interest, so I wanted to see what it's all about. What we're going to do today is season it with a little bit of TX brisket rub and then get it over here on this Outlaw pit. Wrap it in butcher paper, cook it to about 200 degrees, and see if we can't slice it and treat it just like a brisket. I'm excited to see how this turns out. Let's get started. So the first thing we have to do is get this picanha trimmed up. Now this fat on top, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to treat it just like a fat cap I would on a brisket, but this fat on a picanha is so much better than what's on a brisket, it really renders and melts down great. Now on the back side, we do have a little bit of silver skin. All I'm going to do is take this patch of silver skin off, and that's it. So we get a good sharp knife and just come in here and just shave this silver skin off. And I mean, even for a choice grade, you can already tell this picanha is packed full of marbling. You see anything loose hanging off like that right there, we'll just take a knife and gradually walk it off. I think we're good. We're ready to get some seasoning on this picanha. So for seasoning today, we're going to use Killer Hogs TX Rub. This is what I used on my brisket when we done the brisket video, and man, it turned out a great bark. All we're going to do on this meat side, get a good layer of this seasoning on here. It's just a good salt and pepper, real coarse. It's going to add a great texture. Get it patted in good. Get it flipped over this fat side. I'm going to do the exact same thing. So we're going to get this Outlaw hybrid fired up with some royal oak charcoal. While it comes up to temp, we're going to leave this picanha on the cutting board, let that rub start working on it, and then we're fixing to get this on the pit. This Outlaws came right on up to 275. We got our picanha. We're going on the pit. So all I'm going to do is place it center of the rack, and then we're finna let this Outlaw do all the work for us. So we're going to let this picanha go for about an hour. We'll come out here, check on it, see how our color's doing, see if we're building a good bark, and we'll check and see if it needs to be spritzed with water at that time. We're going to treat it just like a brisket. Probably at about the 4-hour mark, she'll be ready to wrap in butcher paper. So this picanha is ready to wrap. It stayed on the pit about 3 hours. We spritzed it about every hour. And as you can tell, the bark set, we got a good color. And just by touching this fat, it's getting sticky. It's time to wrap this picanha. So I got butcher paper. All I'm going to do, fold it over once. Bring my sides in just like I would a brisket. Fold it over one more time. We're still fat side up. And then I got a ThermalWorks dot here. We're gonna put that probe dead center, and then we're getting it back on the pit. I got the alarm set to 202. We're sitting at 173 right now. As soon as it hits 202, we'll check it with the thermal pin, and then we're getting it off. All right, our ThermalWorks dot's telling us to hit 202. Let's check it with the thermal pin to make sure. And as you can tell, we're sitting right at 200 right now. And it's just like room temperature butter. It ain't got any resistance. We're gonna get the probe out of the way. And then we're gonna let this picanha rest. We'll give it about 30, 45 minutes, and then you know we gotta dive into it. We've let this picanha rest for about 30 minutes. Just as a quick recap, we started a 3.5 pound choice grade picanha. Got it seasoned up with Killer Hogs TX and then got it out here on the Outlaw hybrid. It took about 3 hours for that rub to sit and that color to get exactly where we wanted it. We wrapped it in butcher paper and took it about 202, 205 for a finished temp. Of course, we let it rest. Now it's time to slice into it. Now I'm gonna be honest, I really don't know what to expect, but we're gonna give it a go and see what we got. So to slice this picanha, you wanna make sure you cut across the grain just like a brisket. I did kind of look at the bottom just to check which way the grain was running. Now it's time to get it sliced. So we're just gonna come in here. Of course, we're fat side up, and we're finna see what we're working with. I'm gonna cut it just like I would a brisket. Knife seems to be melting right through it. That fat cap looks like it's packed full of moisture. The bark looks great. And I couldn't imagine what a Wagyu picanha would do, because this is just a choice grade, and that looks awesome. Now that we got it sliced up, this picanha looks just like a brisket. It's got a good smoke ring, pulls right apart just like a brisket. Wow, that fat, that's almost like a burnt end. It tastes excellent. You can tell that fat's a little bit different what you get on a brisket, because it instantly melts as soon as it hits your tongue. That's an awesome bite. I would cook this again. Just like this. If you closed your eyes, you'd swear up and down you was eating a good brisket. That's a wrap for us today at Swine Life. We appreciate y'all checking this video out. This is a great substitute for brisket, especially for smaller crowds. If y'all got any questions, shoot us a message on Facebook or Instagram. And as always, like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see y'all next time.